First, we must understand what will not work, because there is a lot of confusion in our country about election expenditure. In 2002-2003, Lok Satta worked very hard with all political parties after Tehelka scam. Some people may remember. That was a case where money was taken by politicians in power, and there was a perception there's a quid pro quo. It was corruption. Then I argued with all the key politicians of all the major political parties in the country and persuaded them that while who is guilty, who is not guilty, let the courts and parliament decide. But we have to at least create an honorable window, a legitimate window for legitimate funding of legitimate politics. And that is how full tax exemption for all donors to political parties, individuals, and to political parties, and to corporates, that has come. That law also provides for free airtime on television, including private electronic media, etc., by law, except that the second part is not implemented. There are some defects in those things, but the problem is not how to find money to campaign. Indian political parties or candidates are not starved of money for legitimate campaign. The problem is vote buying. That cannot be addressed by campaign laws. Many people unfortunately think that somehow if you find more money, it will answer the problems. Not true at all. The problem is, for whatever reasons, vote buying has now become almost universally. Started with Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, now Maharashtra. Now it's spread up to Jammu and Kashmir. It is spread into almost every part of the country. There are thousands of villages where if the parties or candidates fail to pay the money for the votes, the villages are boycotting the elections. Every election you have the news reports of that kind. So now we have to change the electoral system itself. Supposing you move towards a proportional representation system, that means the party will get the seats in proportion to the share of the votes. It's not winning or losing in a constituency. Then the desperation to buy the vote, to somehow win with a marginal vote, that will disappear, and at least the honest parties or even the dishonest parties will have an incentive to be honest and to tell the people, this is our agenda, please vote for us, and we are happy with the seats we get depending on the votes. Supposing in the states you elect the chief minister directly. At the national level it's not desirable and not necessary. But in the states, because the real corruption, real politics is at the MLA level. Supposing we elect the chief minister directly, then no chief minister candidate would like to buy the whole state. It is too risky, it is too costly. Instead, he will depend or she will depend on the image, on the credibility, past record, and what they offer to the people. Slowly, money, power in elections, vote buying will come down. Third, you make the local governments really strong. We all know there is vote buying even in local governments. But in our Residents Welfare Association, what happens? The moment I pay the monthly maintenance cost, if the lift is not operating well, if water is not coming, I will pick up the phone and ask my representative in the association, look bhai, kya ho raha hai? So the more local it is, the more people can see what is happening with their vote. If you give them power, real power, if you messed up, people will stand up. That means slowly they will realize the value of the vote, and they will not exchange that for money. They will exchange it for the services they get. These three steps are absolutely critical. At least any two of these steps. Unless we do that, merely blaming parties at this stage is no use. To pretend that everybody in politics is all an evil person and everybody outside politics, we are all angelic, it may satisfy us emotionally. It will not change the country. Today, let us be truthful. 95% of the MPs supporting Narayana Modi in his party or alliance parties. 95% of MPs opposing Narayana Modi. 95% of the MLAs of the country. They all have spent, if it's an MLA, 5 to 10 crores in many cases to buy the votes. If it's MP, 30 to 40 crores, 25 to 30 crores to buy the votes. If we don't acknowledge it, if we don't address the challenge, if we simply pretend it's a problem of finding money to contest elections, it is a big lie in this country, very popular, but a big lie. It is how to remove the incentive for vote buying. It is how to really make sure that an honest and competent person can be elected without vote buying, not in a stray case, but universally across the country. And it's possible, if political parties put their heads together today, they too are victims. And of course, the people are the biggest victims. We must now stand up, and this is the opportunity. The time is ripe.